Hello, TC Baker here at Wallace Kia in Bristol, Tennessee. Remember to shop the right way on the Parkway. So today we have a 15 Nissan Versa and a 15 Kia Rio. Both are in the subcompact class, and they're pretty fierce competitors. So we're going to take a look at both of them and see how they stack up to one another. So you've got in front of the Kia, you've got the Tiger Nose grille, which is a trademark you see on a lot of the Kias. It's consistent across all of them. It's a Tiger Nose grille, implemented by Peter Schreier, the head designer for the Kia group now. He came from Hyundai. He designed the Audi TT. So that's what made him famous. So the front, looks to me, I could be wrong, it looks to me like a little bit less room here. The front of the Kia is a little bit smaller than the Versa. I think that's right. The Versa seems like it's got a little bit longer nose. All Kias are going to what's called a cab forward design. So you've got right above the wheels, you have strut tower suspension. It's a real strong point of the car, and you can see that's right on. Here's the front right here. That's right on the firewall. So what that does, it decreases body roll, makes a real strong point of the car in the event of an accident. It makes for a more solid, quieter ride, less bouncing around versus a longer nose. Plus, it's just safe because you've got this triangulation of the strut towers and the firewall. So on the Kia Rio, we have one difference I noticed is you've got a side view. Your side view mirror is mounted actually on the door panel versus it's mounted even with the window on the Versa. And we've got another pane of glass here on the Rio. So all that's going to do is give you a little bit more visibility on the Rio. So it looks to me like looks like the front windshield is actually a little bit bigger on the Rio compared to the Versa. And I feel like it's more of more of an aggressive angle back on the Rio versus more up. And Versas have that kind of bubble look, I think, to them. They look good. They're great vehicles, but they do kind of have more of a bubble look than the Rio does. Your Rio has 138 horsepower standard to the 109 in the Versa, so you get a little more horsepower on the Rio, a little bit less in the Versa. Versa gets 3 miles per gallon more on the highway, so that's probably what you're giving up in case of the Rio for more performance. We've got chrome door handles on the Versa versus body colored on the Rio. This is a Rio LX. We've got a Nissan Versa SV here. Going around back, you've got this Versa comes with a spoiler. You can see underneath the spoiler, so this is a port and slide option. Underneath the spoiler kind of drops off. Now the Rio, they have what's called a lip spoiler, so it kind of comes to a point almost there. You can add a spoiler to it, but it's got what's called a lip spoiler to accent the back of the vehicle. So inside the Versa, well, outside, let's start outside. Outside, the Versa is actually a larger vehicle than the Rio, but the Rio has substantially more interior room in the front, especially. So there's the interior cabin on the Rio. So the Rio has an overall width of 67.7 inches versus 66.7 for the Versa, so 1 inch wider overall. And the front headroom is 40 inches compared to 39 on the Versa. Front shoulder is 53 compared to 51 on the Versa. And the biggest thing, and I noticed this just comparing the two cars visually, is the front hip room. So you've got 52 inches of hip room on the Rio versus 48 inches of hip room on the Versa. So what that means is when you sit in here, it's how wide does the vehicle feel? I'm 5'11", and I feel like I've got plenty of room here, and we'll have the seat all the way back. So, that seat went back 5 or 6 inches just there. So you could easily, someone 6'4", 6'5" would feel uncomfortable in here. You've got a soft touch dash here, so it's not a hard plastic on the dash. And then inside here, nice smooth start. Right, that sounded good. So inside here we've got an auxiliary port. Probably having a hard time to see it, but it's there. Auxiliary port, USB port, and 2 12-volt outlets. This Rio comes standard with CD, MP3, satellite radio. Here's all your HVAC controls, and a cubby holder here. Now I feel like I've got plenty of room sitting in the cabin of this Rio. I feel like there's plenty of room width-wise. Take a tape measure. There you are. So take a tape measure across the front. It's 47 inches from the edge of one seat to the edge of the other. So if we did the same on the Versa, again we know it's more narrow, but we did the same on the Versa. It's 45 inches from seat edge to seat edge. It's 45 inches. So it's a narrower car. I think it's taller than the Rio, but it's definitely narrower. So inside the Versa, you've got there's not a in the Rio, this whole part right here is higher in the Rio, and you've got your USB auxiliary here. Here's your 12-volt outlet here. You got one 12-volt versus 2 in the Rio. You've got a touch screen display, which is nice, and seem to be nice materials inside, similar to the Rio. Maybe it's a little bit harder plastic, but inside I feel like it's smaller inside, which it is. The official measurements indicate that the Rio is a little bit larger than the Versa. Versa has a longer overall wheelbase, but in the front especially, the Rio is larger. So that's a look at the Rio and the Versa. Please come down and see them for yourself, and remember to shop the right way on the Parkway.